If your driver's license has been suspended, there's a 1-week period where qualifying suspensions are forgiven. And here to give us the details about this, Shirley Rivers, the Deputy Director of Procedure and Compliance for the South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles, joining us via telephone. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
You have all the details about the Driver Suspension Eligibility Week. First, how did all this come about? Whose idea was it?
Well, back in 2010, the South Carolina Code of Law 56-1-396 was passed that requires South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles to establish a driver's license suspension eligibility week, and that is 1 week on an annual basis at the department's discretion. During this period, a person whose driver's license has been suspended or pending suspension prior to the suspension eligibility week may apply to the department to have qualifying suspensions cleared, or, in other words, have their suspension period ended or reduced.
This is super. So who qualifies for suspension eligibility or this forgiveness?
Who qualifies for suspension? Well, there's a lot of suspensions that are out there, but there are only certain suspensions that qualify for this suspension eligibility week.
Can you give us a list of the types of suspensions that you're talking about?
Okay, there's driving under suspension, excluding any driving under suspension as a result of a driving under the influence or driving with an unlawful alcohol concentration. There is operating or allowing the operation of uninsured vehicles, driving under suspension for failure to pay traffic tickets, another driving under suspension if your license are currently suspended in another state or jurisdiction, excessive points for a minor or individual who's never held anything but a beginner's permit, driving under suspension for failing to pay property taxes on your vehicle, operating an unlicensed taxi or vehicle, and an uninsured motorist, non-owner.
So these are the things where if you've had one of these suspensions, you can be forgiven for that. What steps do people have to go through to get forgiveness?
Okay, the customer would have to meet certain conditions or requirements, of course. There are other reinstatement requirements they would have to satisfy first. This is only taking away the suspension period of time that they need to serve. Any reinstatement fees, any requirements that they need to take care of, they'll have to do that. Any re-exam. This does not take away the reinstatement fees or any other type fees that they owe the agency.
So am I understanding correctly? If you qualify, you go through the procedure, you get your license renewed, or you're able to get that suspension taken off.
That is correct. Once you make application, there is an application, and we do provide an information sheet. Once you make application, it's reviewed by one of our clerks, and it's then determined which suspensions qualify. Mm-hmm. We go through and check all suspensions, and then we tell them what applicable fees are necessary, whether they'll be required to take any additional tests, being the knowledge test or the skills test to get their license back. And in some instances, they have to file certificate of SR22 insurance. We also tell them all of that to make sure that they meet all the requirements.
All right. Now, the Driver Suspension Eligibility Week is coming up the week of March 13th through the 17th. What do people need to bring with them?
Well, once they come into our local DMV office, or they can contact our headquarters office, they'll bring in we need their name, birth date, license number, so we can find them in our system, and then we determine their eligibility at that point. We'll tell them what fees is necessary, what they need to do, and prior to that, we normally get a good amount of calls where individuals are calling in asking, do I qualify or will I qualify? So we kind of give them that information prior to that.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Any forms to fill out prior?
Well, they can do the application form. They can fill out that application, and they can even provide it to us beforehand, and we'll tell them if they're eligible But we also remind them that we add suspensions and violations daily, all day long. So something else may come up, and it may not be a qualifying suspension. So we make sure that they understand that and give them all the information they need so they'll be prepared on that week.
Okay. And so, again, you only have one shot a year to do this. You only have this program once a year.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it the same time each year?
No, ma'am. We try to find a time that that it does not affect us on a Saturday, on our Saturday office, and we also try to make sure around income tax time. So an individual, if they're getting a return, they may have the necessary fees if they don't have it to pay their reinstatement fee and be reinstated.
Oh, that is great. That is great. Again, Driver Suspension Eligibility Week. It's March 13th through the 17th. And what are your hours?
Our hours at the local DMV is 8:30 to 5, except for Wednesdays, ma'am. Excuse me. On Wednesdays is our training day. We're open from 9:30 to 5.
Okay. And a phone number if people would like to have any questions about this answered?
If they have questions about Suspension Eligibility Week, they can call our contact center at 803-896-5000.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Okay, and our website has information also for the application. It's on scdmvonline.com. They can go out there. There's an application out there that they can download, and there also will be some information out there concerning that. Our best advice to them is to come early in the week so we can get as many people back in and out, and if they have to get SR22 insurance, they have an opportunity to get that or any other things that they may need to do so we can service them during that week.
Again, Shirley Rivers, the Deputy Director of Procedure and Compliance for the South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles, Driver Suspension Eligibility Week. Again, March 13th through the 17th. And the number to call for more information, you said 803-896-5000.
That is correct.
All right. And that website one more time?
It's scdmvonline.com.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, ma'am.